Do you know the sites visited by Queen Victoria and Charles Dickens? Have you heard of bog snorkeling or Gretna Green? Stay with me. Let's meet someone who actually got married there. I'm Todi. What I enjoy the most about walking are the connections, the knowledge sharing, and the boost it gives to your mental, physical, social, and all-round health. This walk around Kenilworth Castle was with Simon, whom I met at Myton Church.
I love being outside, enjoying nature, chatting and connecting with people. And often I find if you walk, you connect better than just sat somewhere.
Yeah.
And if you're not in a pub or a club or whatever, you can hear better. Simon?
I walk at Jella. I've been to the Peak District, Lake District, Cotland, Lanta, for walks basically. My favorite walk is the tent walk in the summer and just walk around, eat some food, do some beer along the walk.
I met Lakey through the African Caribbean Heritage Nigerian Network.
I'm Naz. I also work at JLR. I love walking. Probably started doing it more so since lockdown. Been to Lake District, been to Peak District. I was with Todi last week in Scotland. And, that was gorgeous, and it was beautiful weather like we have today.
I met Naz through the Women on Tour organised by Rich.
Sabine, Sab, everyone calling me. Yeah, like my outdoors, like walking. I've been to a few walks around the country and outside the country. Madeira is beautiful for a walk if you like to go there. Nice summer day for a walk.
I met Sabine through the Emotional, Cultural and Intelligence team.
So I love walking, and I've covered most parts of the UK, most counties, Yorkshire, Lake District, Peak District. I used to do a lot of mountain biking in the Peak District. Grew up starting to solo walk in the lakes, Scotland, cycled toured some of Scotland, cycled toured Cumbria, kayak in various places. Been to Scandinavia, Denmark, Norway, did walking, kayaking there, Madeira, Tenerife, Portugal, Lanzarote. I actually like colder climates to walk in rather than the heat.
Todi, I like meeting people, so they're making my day by being here. Finito.
Without further ado, let's get started.
The end here is the newest bit. So inside you can see a light bulb because that was modernised and still had people living in the 1930s in it. And it's been redone out in the furniture of the 1930s, and you can go around it. We're not going in because we're not paying, but you can if you come back and visit it. So that was reopened probably 20 odd years ago, maybe 30 years ago now. In my childhood it was totally sealed off because so they did it up and they've returned it to the standards of the family that had it, who basically gave it to its heritage. It's famous for particularly two monarchs, Queen Elizabeth visiting it more than any other place of her court, twice in the 1570s. And the garden that's now there was returned to how it was in the 15th century. So in my childhood it's totally different, and they literally ripped it all out, dropped it to the original. It was demolished as a castle. And what we're walking down into now would have been a great big mere. There was a huge lake right over the back of this, all the way around. It was a substantially protected site. You can see these outer walls here, and then you've got the inner keep and the northwest tower. That bit there, and you'll see where the steps are that they'd moor the boats. So the boats would literally be rowed across here, and people would get out to get into the castle. Wow. So that's Lord Leicester's Tower, and then this is the original castle with keeps.
Did you know Kenilworth Castle has a couple of spine-tingling stories, like the haunting of Dudley's Tower? Dudley's Tower, also known as Leicester's Building, is said to be haunted by the ghost of Robert Dudley, the Earl of Leicester, who was a close friend of Queen Elizabeth I and spent much time at Kenilworth Castle. Visitors have reported hearing footsteps, whispers, and even glimpses of a shadowy figure in the tower. Legend has it that Dudley's spirit still roams the tower, pining for his lost love, Queen Elizabeth. The cries of Maud. Maud, a servant girl, met a tragic end at Kenilworth Castle. She fell in love with a knight who was killed during a jousting tournament. Heartbroken, Maud threw herself from the tower, and her anguished cries are said to echo through the castle on moonlit nights. Some visitors claim to have heard her weeping or felt a sudden chill near the tower. There are many events that take place at Kenilworth Castle. The legendary joust at Kenilworth Castle and Elizabethan Garden is an exhilarating spectacle where 4 knights, representing a character from myth or legend, the Wyvern, the Wild Man, Sir Lancelot, and Jason of the Argonauts, compete for honor and glory in a grand medieval joust in July from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. You can also enjoy medieval encampment, try archery, watch falcons soar, and enjoy the castle jester.
It's usually every year a massive fireworks display out here,
Oh wow.
which is awesome.
For
And
New
they have
Year?
stalls and food stalls and music and lasers.
When is that?
It'll be the nearest Saturday to the 5th of November on the shop, which is where Queen Elizabeth had some of her things, and there was a massive fireworks display shot off on the Pleasance, which basically means pleasure from the French people. And it was basically a remote site built by Henry V, so he could go and just get away from all the pressures and just chill out. And it was built with a spur of land protecting the view from the castle, so the spur of land stuck out. And then you couldn't see the Pleasance, so when you were on it, it was really quite remote.
Henry V was the one that made multiple wives, wasn't it?
Henry VIII was the one with the multiple wives, so this is 3 Henrys before that.
Yeah.
Henry V is the one that had the famous Battle of Agincourt in France and other battles, and reclaimed some of the land back for England from France, because after the Norman Conquest there were sort of fluctuations of what was English and what was French, and they were constantly battling who was having what in the Plantagenets era, and Henry V was the warrior king. Famous for the bows, Battle of Agincourt, the English longlet bow that won the battle basically, the technology of the English longbow defeated the French troops. And he started the big castle in Leicester. That was huge. Lovely sorts of fish and wildfowl for the castle, so you're going to catch your fish and shoot wildfowl. Put it on the table.
The walking up to this roundabouts.
You see all the reeds growing up where it's wet, so all this was flooded right out. They started to drain it. It would have been a massive water expanse. There would have been ducks, geese and waterfowl around it, and there would have been fish. So back in medieval and Tudor times, fish was a massive part of diet, and with the Catholic influence you had very few days where you could eat meat.
Right.
So they ate a lot of fish. So we know of fish on Fridays, but in Catholic culture there would have been fish many times a week. So often the wealthy would build lakes or pools or ponds, which is why so many big country houses have either got pools or ponds in them to have the fish to feed the people.
Right.
There's still the little brook going through, and incidentally when my dad was a boy he used to fish this brook, and I think he actually caught trout in it. You wouldn't find that in it now.
And there's some cows in the background.
Yeah, do you want me to pull them over? You want to stroke the cow?
Interestingly, the castle's ruins gained widespread recognition more than a century after its condemnation. In 1821, Walter Scott's novel titled Kenilworth brought renewed attention to this remarkable site. Disengage.
About 60% of working force are working parents, and with the children under 18, we can't raise them, and we can't have a bit of trouble.
Yeah. I think they have this policy, paternal leave.
That's right.
It's 6 weeks, which is really good. Yeah.
From 2026, it will be better.
So Sabine is going for the role.
Just committee member, yeah. Hopefully, fingers crossed. Interview in a couple of weeks' time.
For the WalkingTours
Yeah.
network. All the best, Sabine.
Thank you very much.
Nice flower meadows. The land around here was pasture land for a long time. The Pleasance.
Yeah,
What does it mean? Place of pleasure.
pleasure.
The Pleasance.
I don't remember it ever being this wet. Maybe that's signs of we're having so much rain these days. Yes.
Oh, yeah. It's a good history as well.
Yeah. It's a nice walk. That's another one we could potentially do actually. And drive through it and get there before sunrise.
Yeah.
So you get on the top, you get the sunrise, and then as the sun rises, the mist rises. So you're standing on the peak and you look at the mist coming off the sea, like a ring around the whole island, and then it rises up the top and you become clouds. So if it goes later, you mist to the edge. It's awesome.
Recommendations about Madeira.
You learn to wait on circular walk. Somewhere come back.
Look, can you see it? It's really nice.
The cave has been used in a film.
Cave. The place where people eloped to get married in Scotland. Have you heard of it? That's where Sabine got married.
It's like in older days, you eloped if you were not allowed to get
Yeah,
married.
and in Scotland you can get married I think at 16, whereas in England you can get married in 18. So you didn't have to have parents' permission necessarily, which is why you see the Great Green Marine.
Nowadays, you actually have to give a 28 days notice.
So I've made it for bushcraft, so inside it's got customised things for axes, stones. It's got a map pocket. When I get the launch out, you can put a pocket for a compass, knife, head torch, maps, stoves, all that. And then I can strap them on the top, so I have a tank on top.
So cute. It looks like a handbag, doesn't it?
Yeah, so I could make handbags.
Yeah.
Every hole basically is punched with a stamping tool first,
Yeah.
before I then sew through it. I've slowly increased my toolkit and my experience.
Amazing talent.
Well, I love doing it, and
Talent.
often when I'm sitting, if I'm watching the telly, I can be making things either knitting or sewing stuff at the same time. I like to multitask when I can.
Absolutely stunning place. It's like a really, really good walk there. Walking form. So yeah, absolutely recommend it. And it's up in Lancashire as well. So beautiful. And Tom went in Ireland, that was about 10k. And now when I said we had a country house, we used to have that. I think it was about 60 days something like that.
Some of the terrain look like this.
So you'd better come with your walking boots, because even my boots are wet right now. Lunch break. It was so cold. It was December and it was really windy day as well. I've done a swim and one of the swims it was actually you had to go underwater and like literally I felt like I had brain freeze at that moment. And then it's kind of like you're running over the field, but because it was so windy and all the clothes are wet, that was the first time in my life I thought I will drop out the hot in a minute. People didn't finish, but we crossed the finishing line. So I got in a car, like literally put a heating on for about 2 hours. I was sitting there, it's like I warmed up, and then suddenly I was like literally got shakes through it. I never experienced anything like that. You know,
You literally swim through a bog with a snorkel. You head in the bog. There's a particular bog. There's a place in Wales, Worldtour, Wales, and they do a whole range of unusual. They're famous for mountain biking, but they also do bog snorkeling, and they do man v horse v bike. So you race either a horse or a bike as well.
when I was living in Leamington, I was doing British military fitness. Oh, it was like literally the best fitness I ever done. It was brilliant. It was really good. I was like probably at the fittest at that time.
The nice woodland bits.
Yeah, this is the woodland bit.
Lovely trees. Pine trees. You've been to Latvia?
I'm born in Latvia. I'm an open book. When they do say that Latvian people are a bit like a colder culture. Other people are a bit more like I'm distant. But I'm very cookie cuddly.
Big vista view.
I tried curry for the first time and I was like, wow, that was amazing. And then I tried Chinese and I was like, wow, even better. A lot of things I couldn't understand. I thought fish and chips was disgusting.
Really?
Yeah, it's fried. Everything is fried here.
Your parents decided to name you Sabine?
Yeah.
Which is German.
I think there was some kind of film or something like my mum was watching, and my dad wanted to call me Cindy. But my mum really was keen for Sabine. So, yeah.
Sabine has done 6 years of wrestling.
It was brilliant. I love wrestling.
Was that only within your gender, or was it mixed wrestling? Cool. Well.
My little boy is a Harley Henry Hancock's, yeah? It's Triple H. Have you ever heard of the wrestler Triple H?
Beautiful dogs. I love looking at dogs. Of dumbbells, barbells, and the fitness kit at home.
Yeah, she's keeping rope, battle rope, spin bike, the powder, back and hand, and pull myself up and pull up. Pull up speed, the head hand, stuff like that. It's not expensive.
Who likes Wickles?
You wouldn't find it in my house.
I love it. Pleasant fun.
As we approach and go through the trees, you'll get a stunning view down onto the castle. And at different times of year, you get different views. When the sun's going down, it's awesome. That's why I brought you on this walk, just for this bit. Okay?
The soaking was just like, you know,
Just in case you were really up to doing another one, you know, before we take you
if you were working up at
Lovely horses. Lovely roads of sweet spot. Very lovely view of the castle. Out of here into a boat. Live life as a traveller. Once upon a time, this place is the hub of life.
And even here, the weeds haven't been grown. It's obviously very new. And we're home. The sun comes out. Literally, waterproof off, out comes the sun.
We finished off with drinks and food at the Queen and Castle, a gastropub, boasting stylish interiors, a beautiful dining and bar space, as well as an outdoor courtyard featuring a fantastic view of Kenilworth Castle. I had previously visited twice with Simon and Hilda, a 93-year-old who puts us all to shame with her health and vigor. The Queen and Castle provides a welcoming atmosphere even to dogs. They have varied menus, from delicious 3-course meals to light bites and classic pub food, catering to a variety of dining preferences for those craving British classics or Mediterranean-inspired dishes, and a selection of wines and ales that perfectly complements the tempting seasonal dishes. Sabine had the linguine. He's having crispy duck noodle salad. Delicious, says Nikki.
Would you like?
Naz had the spiced carrots and coriander soup. She couldn't taste the chicken.
So the first thing I said to Todi is that I've never tried Nigerian food. Is it spicy? She's like, yeah. I was just like, oh, I gotta try it.
even after adding chili flakes.
So lovely.
But I still can't taste the chili.
There's chili flakes and there's chili flakes.
Simon had the British steak and Malbec pie, while his mum had the freshly battered lime quartz cod and chips. I tried pan-fried wild scallops and the sea salt and pepper squids.
Rainbow salad with there's chunks of mango and duck.
And watercress.
Remember, life can be a bed of roses full of thorns. Thorny, rosy, it can be lonely at the top, and misery does love company. Whatever, you don't have to go it alone. Ask me how to join the Walk and Talk group. Find out more about Naz's and my trip to Scotland. 15 women on tour too. If you haven't yet, please subscribe, like and follow for more content like this. Thank you.